Hi there, it's Dr. Nadia, founder of the Doyenne Agency and creator of Straight Talk About Sales with Dr. Nadia. Today I wanted to chat about money. Last week I did a video about money is icky. I had attended an event, and during that we were looking at our financials and just learning more about the different reports that our accountant or bookkeeper would create for us as we were growing our businesses. And we talked a little bit about just some of the fears, the doubts, the insecurities, the different emotions that come up sometimes, particularly in women entrepreneurs, when it comes to looking at the numbers, which is why sometimes we just don't do it. We don't want to deal with it. So having been on that side of the equation for many years, for a long time, and knowing what that looks like, today I wanted to come to you and talk about the other side of this. Before I headed out today, so I took a trip, I flew to Portland today. I received a message from one of my clients. She sent me a quick note, and it was a celebratory note to acknowledge the fact that I'd closed $100,000 in Q3. And I was like, OMG. Now, it's not that we don't look at the numbers, but technically we're not at the end of Q3 just yet. So I wasn't necessarily looking at that because I was like, what else can we get done in Q3? But here's the cool thing about that is her actual revenue goal for the entire year was 120. But I just want to let that sit there and marinate for a moment. How cool is that? So here are a couple of things that came up for me, and not only how we got to that number, but also just the power that comes because we review the numbers. So with my clients, we're always looking at the numbers, their particular revenue goals. What are things that I'm hearing in conversations with prospects? What suggestions would I make in adjustments or tweaks that we need to make in order to move the business forward? And definitely what we need to do to stay on track, get on track, or blow the track out of the water, right? And in this, there were a couple of things that I realized that really helped us to get to this point. And I'm really excited for the momentum that she's experiencing as we prepare to go into 2019. So a couple of those things are, one, give yourself some runway. You probably heard me say this a lot. And the reason why I say it is because I think we oftentimes don't give ourselves enough room to allow for the growth that we need in order to move our businesses forward. Runway is so important. And I probably grabbed that term because I fly a lot. So I'm on a lot of runways. And I know that there's time that we need that time to, ramp up before we take off. And the same is true for your business. We gave ourselves the runway that we needed in order to see the results that we desired. But runway wasn't the only thing. The second part to that was to be willing to be uncomfortable. There were a lot of uncomfortable moments, especially as my client started making adjustments to her business model. And one of those massive adjustments was her price points. And the increase in her price points made a lot of people uncomfortable. And, frankly, it made her uncomfortable to a point. Like she took it like a champ, and then there were times when I had to bring back some news, and I was like, I don't know if I want to tell her this, but it was really important that she heard it. But she was just willing to go through the process. And that leads me to the other part of that. I would say 2B is trust the process. There's a process to this entire thing. And a lot of times when we pivot or we shift in our businesses, when we make the decision to really focus in our businesses, there's usually a lot of discomfort that comes along with it. And it can be reflected back to us through other people. The third point I wanted to make as we look back on our progress with this particular client is the power of unwavering focus. One of the things that we ended up doing is really scaling back on the number of offers. So it ended up that we only had one program. That's it, just one. And if people weren't ready or they couldn't move forward for whatever reason that they had, whether it was a commitment issue, a price point issue, or whatever issue that we had an issue, it was just like, Okay. And I really brought this up because sometimes we buy into the fact that we need, or the idea, I should say, that we need to have a ton of offers and on the table in order to grow our businesses. Now, it doesn't mean you can't have multiple offers. As a matter of fact, now that we've gotten to this place, we're having lots of conversations that we're planning for 2019 to do just that, to add some additional offers. So one will be an offer for people that may not be at that point just yet. So it's more of a beginner offer. And another offer for those that may even continue on and graduate from her current program, or for more advanced people. So it's not that, we wouldn't, or she wasn't willing or even had a desire to work with more clients and serve more people, but it was powerful to just have that level of focus, because not only did it obviously bring in the revenue, it also brought in a lot of great data to help us make more informed decisions about our next steps. So the steps that we move and make for next year should definitely move us in the direction that we want to go, and we can really leverage the momentum to move us forward. So I really wanted to share that because there is power in looking at your numbers. There's a lot of feedback that we can get from the numbers, but also a lot of times when you're putting those goals out there and you have that level of accountability and you're sharing that information with your team, guess what? You sometimes exceed it. Like, that is so cool that we have already blown her revenue goal for this year completely out of the water. I think we might have doubled it already. So it'll be very interesting to see what Q4 brings, because we're not going to stop. We're not taking our foot off the pedal at all. We're going to move forward full steam ahead as we prepare and work together as a team to move and do some different things, some new exciting things in 2019. So again, sometimes we feel really uncomfortable about looking at the numbers. Sometimes, especially when we're in those shifts or things aren't going the way we want them to go, it's really easy to be like, you know what, I just don't really want to talk about it. But take it from me, someone who has been on both sides, it feels a whole lot better being on this side of looking at the numbers, even on the days when it's uncomfortable, but it gives you a lot of information and it allows you to make an informed decision. It allows you to really grow your business. And believe it or not, a lot of times it'll allow you to do that a lot faster than ignoring the numbers and pretending that this does not exist. So again, it's amazing to see my clients growth. I'm so excited for her. I'm so stinking proud. I cannot wait to see what we commit and are able to create in Q4. I sent her a message back and I'm like, how about we double it in Q4? So I wonder if we can do a 200,000 in Q4 for her. I know that would just knock her socks completely off, and it would just be an awesome, awesome, awesome way for her to end 2018 as we go into 2019. So what are your goals? What are your goals? What are your concerns? What are your hangups? Where do you get caught up in not looking at the numbers? Where do you feel discomfort? And what do you need? What type of support do you need? These are all really great questions for you to take some time this weekend and do some journaling. Take some time to really think about what that looks like as we prepare to move into Q4 and, of course, move into 2019. And if you need some help with that, or you want to run some ideas by me or have a conversation, would love to do that. Head on over to meetwithdrnadia.com. That's meetwithdrnadia.com, meetwithdrnadia.com. Schedule some time for us to chat. And let's see if there's any way that my team can support you in achieving and exceeding your revenue goals. This is Dr. Nadia signing off. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.